We live. Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. No introduction for this show, Jimmy the Bag. We have the MLB game coming up in 5 minutes. Let's quickly get to that, and then we'll move on to the normal introductions and some of the other usual things that happen in this show. The makeup game, Pavetta against Kashner. Yesterday, I did go with Philly on the first 5 innings, over team total over 2.5, and then of course the game got rained out. I think in this spot, I think I'm just going to pass. I would have a lean to the under at 10.5, despite the fact that it's Pavetta against Kashner. Maybe a lean to the second half, although actually now it's down from 10.5 to 10. Game goes off in 4 minutes, Jim. You having a pick on this one?
No, I don't, but I did have, as with you, a slight lean to the under, uncomfortable spot. Orioles are smashing. The wind is nice, blowing sideways, 9 miles an hour if you're going for the under. Orioles have scored 58 runs last 7 games. Pavetta's trash on the road, hard to trust. Kashner's hard to trust on the road or at home. And, Pavetta's allowed 10 earned runs in 10 innings on the road this year. This is a tricky spot that I'm comfortable to stay away from.
Okay, I would definitely be leaning under here. Definitely be leaning second half under, which is 4 plus 105. I'm thinking about this. I got a couple more minutes to think about this before if I want to make an official pick. Jimmy the Bag yesterday was another slight losing day in MLB, and I'm really annoyed because I'm actually doing okay overall in baseball. I'm having the same issues, just not with my personal picks, but with the picks that I give publicly. Like I did wind up getting the balls to give the under in the St. Louis game, Minnesota game. That was a game that was definitely going to be a pick in my in my private accounts, and I just found the balls to do it, and I also wanted to give the first 5 innings. I wanted to give the under. I wanted to give the St. Louis first 5 innings. Neither one of us had the balls to give the first 5 innings under in the Houston LA Angels game, which did wind up cashing.
And Barry, actually, it was the other way around. Cole allowed 2 runs in the first inning.
Right.
Oh wow, it was nice that we stayed off of it. And then
Chen did have a good start, which went with my a lean on the game in general, which is that if you had given me a free pick, I would have taken Miami as a big underdog there. So a little bit, this week has been a little bit frustrating. 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago were pretty nice when it came to my dealing with balls and leans and all that. Last few days have not worked out so well. A lot of my leans have cashed. A lot of my official plays have lost. We're still both positive though.
Oh yeah. Positive, nicely positive. And I hit NHL and NBA last night.
Very nicely done.
I feel good. The Dodgers situation cost me 2 units. Hurt my day. But other than that, I felt like I had good reads, and I feel like I was going to hit that over in the Yankees game, and then I did hit 3 late totals. So
yeah. You did. It wasn't that bad yesterday. Jimmy the Bag, of course, great call on Boston. A lot of people were saying like LeBron's going to come back. Boston game 2 is a trap. And in retrospect, should have known that LeBron and the Cavs would come out great early, and that the advantage for Boston would come later on. Should have been an obvious play for me to take Cavs on the first quarter and then maybe Boston on the full game.
I studied the series between the Rockets Warriors for hours. And I have a play on the total that I really like.
Very, very nice. All right, we will talk about this one. Mark Lathrop joining the chat early on. 2 and 3 yesterday, minus 1.27 units for Mark Lathrop. He says, and it feels like I got my face ripped off. LOL. Yes, Mark Lathrop. I hear you, pal. I'm thankfully still positive. Jim is, as always, kicking ass, at least moderately, up double digits in MLB, and I'm okay moving forward. Let me just quickly look at some of the comments here on the early game. I'm definitely leaning under. I'm in the Baltimore game. I'm definitely leaning second half under as well. Shout out to Flipper 13. Shout out to Flipper 13. Not applicable. Leaning Baltimore. I have 1 minute to make an official play on this one, and he goes. Let's see. Kashner blows. Philly money line and team total over. Rojo Flo says Kashner blows, and you know what? I will throw on as an official pick the second half under at 4 plus 105. It's 4. It's a plus 105 line, and I will take that one. I'll throw that one on there as an official pick. Hopefully I can start the day off with a positive unit. Baltimore, second half, under 4 plus 105. That is the current line at Bookmaker. That is the last second pick on the 1205 play on Philly and Baltimore.
I hear you. Tomor says I lean over with the pitchers off their routine, but the colder weather keeps me from betting it. Cashner's been able to pitch at home, or hasn't been able to pitch at home consistently. I'm uncomfortable with the game, so I'm thankful to not make a play on it.
That's that for the 12:05 game. It is 12:05 Eastern time right now. Okay, you are watching SBR Sports Picks, SBR Sports Picks, SportsbookReview.com, SBRForum.com, SBROdds.com. His name, Jimmy the Bag. My name, Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Little Help, Wednesday, May 16th. Jimmy the Bag and I are chugging along. Jimmy the Bag once again yesterday just 2 great calls on the playoff games. Yes, Jimmy the Bag had Tampa Bay to get a win. So it's interesting. You want to just quickly touch on that? I mean, Tampa Bay completely S the bed at home first 2 games. What is it that made you relatively confident that they would be a good bet to come back and win the game 3?
Stamkos' speech. And he led by example in that game. They're not the way they dispatched the Bruins was very impressive, and last night we got to see what they were made of, and Stamkos' speech completely sold me on it. He was going to say that exact speech to the guys, look everybody in their eyes, and now they had no pressure. And it's a funny thing about that. You'd think that you're down 2-0, they have all the pressure. I don't think that at all. All the pressure was on Washington. They'd won 2 games in Tampa. Now they're in front of their home fans. Tampa is going to lose the series with nothing to lose. Just go play your hearts out. And it was actually... I felt it was kind of a simple capping situation where Game 4 is more complicated. But in Game 4, we're dealing with the same thing where now even more pressure is on Washington. And I'm going to take the Lightning again.
Man, it's going to be weird. I'm wondering, why didn't Stamkos just make that speech before Game 1 and before Game 2, and then they'd be up 2-0 going into the Game 3?
They never needed to... They never needed it.
Yeah.
Like they'd never been stuck. They had never had to deal with adversity. I mean, we see this Golden Knights team has been dealing with adversity all year long.
Yes.
People counting them out like me all year long. But Tampa's just been riding. It's been riding easy, man. They've had nothing to worry about. Finally had some adversity. Stamkos gave a speech. They have a ton of depth, way more depth offensively than the Capitals have. And they stepped up.
Very nice job. Now let me ask you about the Cleveland-Boston game. Very interesting, of course, yesterday. A lot of people were suggesting that the over was a great play. Then a few people were suggesting that the under, coming back the other way, was the play because so many people were on the over. And, of course, in the end, the under cashed, and it landed very close to the actual total. So, once again, just like the Golden State game, don't be surprised when the market is super, super sharp when it comes to where these lines are.
I've got a breakdown for that Golden State game. I can't wait to get into it, man. I want to talk about it right now.
Really? Okay, well, we're not going to because we have day games in MLB, but we'll get into it. We will get into it.
I want to give a shout-out to Randy Lockhart hitting us up with some Finger Lakes action.
Oh,
that would be
nice.
a wonderful thing to do today is hammer that Finger Lakes card. But as I say, it's tough hitting these B and C tracks, and Finger Lakes might be a C track. And it's always more difficult. But then you just look for the horses that are coming over from Belmont, and they're using the best jockeys. And if a jockey comes over from Belmont or Aqueduct, then you just hammer that horse. But thank you, Randy. Love it.
Okay, a lot of interesting comments coming in. We will read those, and then we'll get to the MLB games. First comment, we're going to say the 88 Nate. First-time commenter, been listening for the last couple days. Don't want to shout out, want to shout y'all out. Shout out to Loshak and the Bag Show. It's aesthetically pleasing. Thank you very much, the 88 Nate. Now, a lot of people commenting on the way things have gone. Kobe Valentine says Cleveland can't defend. We already knew that, of course. And Boston knows how to defend the 3. I said it yesterday. Braun can go for 60 and will lose if Braun defends Cavs' crappy role players like Raps couldn't do it. Absolutely.
And Normal Nation hit with all 3 of those LeBron props. And the last 2 were plus 200 and plus 300, and I believe it was over 38 and over 42, or at least 38 and at least 42.
Scotty Rock Forever nailed the total exactly 201. We're going to show him some love for that. Shaquille Bell says, been waiting all morning for your guys' show. Thank you so much, Shaquille Bell. Thank you so much, Shaquille Bell. Joe D cashed Celtics last night for $1,000 and Lightning for $700. Ooh, more money than I got, I'll tell you that right now.
Work,
let's see. What else do we have? Comments coming in. Let me see. Yes, Scotty Rock Forever predicted the total, and he was proud. Mustang 8 Ball says Tampa Bay is done now. Would you agree with that? Mustang 8 Ball says Tampa Bay is done now?
I hope he's talking about the Rays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if he's talking, I mean, it's nice to have Mustang 8-Ball because he was a big hater on me when he started commenting. So I'm thankful to have Mustang 8-Ball in the chat and be a part of Team Loback. I find that I'd love to hear more about that.
Yes, we will talk about that in
after a
subsequent
team
shows.
wins big in the other team's barn. It's hard to feel like they don't have momentum.
I mean, we'll see. We will talk about this one. Tomarino says, everyone falling in love with the Celtics. The Celtics are good, but the Cavs are getting exposed. Golden State will destroy this Celtics team. I mean, I think that's the general consensus. The general consensus is that the Houston Golden State series is the actual NBA Finals, and that whoever comes out of that series will have the edge over whoever comes out of the Celtics-Cavs series.
An enormous edge, no question about it.
Yeah. Henry Jenkins Jr. says, Jimmy the Bag is awesome in all caps. King Rail says the Celtics are for real. Only cost me $700 to find that out. Yeah, I mean, I thought that the Celtics pretty clearly, I think they were proving themselves. I just thought I was just a little bit scared of a huge bounce back spot. Steve Kerr said, "Be careful those game twos." Steve Kerr what is
Steve Kerr know about fucking gambling?
Shit,
man.
yeah,
Doesn't
Steve
know
knows-
shit
he
about
knows
gambling.
coaching, not gambling. Yeah, I mean, the Celtics are obviously one of these teams that has a good system, a well-coached team, can deal with adversity well. Those are the kinds of teams that do tend to do well in the playoffs. Henry Jenkins, shout out to Jimmy the Bag for giving me the nuts to pick Celtics. Thanks, JB. And let's see, Kobe Valentine talking about some early line movements in MLB. And Native Queen, first 5 minutes of the show, is coming with some picks. She likes, it's from the Philly game. Okay, so that game is off.
But
Philly,
what's she on anyways?
first 5 under and full game under. That's not very good because I'm on the second half under, which means that, I guess it's good that she's on the full game under. But yeah, I was definitely leaning under on that game, and the game is off. All right, so let's see. Let's see. What else do we have coming on? Nick Dial says, at Jimmy, I saw that you're on the over Cincinnati, San Francisco. Did you already tweet that out?
Oh, yeah. Not an official play. I bet it.
But not as an official play. Okay.
Yeah, but I will make an official play when we do it.
Okay. Nick Dial says, just note that the home plate umpire is Doug Eddings. As we know, long term, that guy's been a big under trender, and this year is no different. 1-6 over under for Eddings this year. And
I've also noticed, Nick, that a ton of people are on the under in that game because of it. A ton of computers are also spitting out unders for that game. So it's a contrarian play for sure.
Absolutely. Minus 110. Nostra T is joining us in the chat. Thank you so much. You garbage agree me. Yeah. That is, those are two leans that I had yesterday that would have lost if I had given them. I was thinking that it was more likely than not that Darvish would have a bad start, but he had a good start. Atlanta did not cash. Atlanta's team total unders cashed, and Jimmy the Bag. It was mostly because of you that I didn't bet that or make it an official play. You said you thought Darvish would have would be better than people were thinking, and that was correct.
And for me, I have to give a shout out to Nostra, man. It's another situation where it's just about listening. I've been listening to what he's been saying about you, and he's going against everybody in the chat. And when you think about it longer, you know he's right because you know that Madden and the Chicago Cubs brass are experts. They're not idiots.
Right.
And they're not going to give $130 million to some guy who can't throw. And Nostra talked about the vividness bias of what we saw in the World Series and how the whole world is against you and thinks you garbage is trash. And there's no question that Albies is not going to be able to keep this up. Achuna is not going to be able to keep this up because the kids never do. They just never keep it up for a 162-game season. And this Atlanta offense is going to regress. It has to regress. And when I tweeted out the Nationals to win the division and all these guys coming at me saying Braves are going to win the division by 10 games and all that stuff, that gave me even more confidence. I thought, man, you are so biased that you can't even see clearly, and it gave me more confidence, not less confidence.
Yes. All right, very nice. And Antoine Seymour says, all in caps, people in this chat are funny, saying the Cavs are done, laughing my ass off. Does that strike you as funny? If someone says to you, the Cavs are done, and you start laughing? Is that funny to you?
I don't laugh, but I was watching the roundtable before our show, and they were all saying that the Cavs are done. And Searcy said...
Maybe they're just trying to be funny. Maybe they're trying to go for the humor.
Seriously said they're not done, and Big Man was like, "What series are you watching?" I find it very interesting. I always find it interesting in playoff series when a team holds court in their home arena or stadium or whatever, and people just count the other team out. I mean, you're not losing a series until you lose at home, and I spent most of my time really this morning on that Rockets Warriors game, so I will spend the rest, and we got a couple days now, right? We have a break before the next game, so there's a lot of studying to do. But I'm very excited about both playoff series. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us.
Just some last comments, and then we'll get into MLB. King Rail says Cavs are done, and I'm a Bron fan. Justin Searcy says Cavs are done is an overreaction. Payless Way says Cavs are done. Greg Schneider says Cavs are for sure not done. Win at home and steal Game 7. Wow, that's a bold prediction there. Greg Schneider, Cavs are for sure not done. He's predicting that I don't know if that's a prediction or if he's saying it's a possibility, but Greg Schneider thinks it's a possibility they could still win the series.
Well, I always respect Searcy's insight.
No, that's Greg Schneider.
Oh, I'm just talking about Searcy, because Searcy was the guy saying it on the roundtable. Joe D saying sad but true, the Cavs are done, man. I just think everybody's got to read that book I was talking about yesterday, and they'll be better gamblers.
Okay. Let me just do a quick comment save here, and then we'll get into MLB. I guess for Jimmy's sake, we can throw the MLB record up. You got the MLB record up there, Johan, despite the fact that, Jimmy the Bat, you are off a small losing day in MLB, right?
Yeah.
Still up double digits, very nice. And me, I am still positive, but as you can see, just plus 1 unit and definitely cutting it close. Very frustrating this week because, in general, my leans, I was very good about giving leans that were winners and staying off the ones that made me nervous. But yesterday, there were a bunch of second-half unders that I liked, and then I got screwed on that run in the top of the ninth in the Dodgers game with the second-half under on that one, so I got totally screwed on the Dodgers Miami game. I'm still positive though, and let's get into today's card. I only looked at all of the day games in MLB. The evening games I have not looked into. I will cover those later on, and I will give whatever picks I want on those in the evening show. We have a whole bunch of day games. Jimmy the Bag. Let's start with the 12:35 game, which is Santiago against Tyone, and Pittsburgh getting some major respect. Usually they don't get much respect at home, right? Usually they're like a minus 120, minus 130, minus 140 home favorite and often have value there. This one opened at minus 200. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Market is suddenly making them one of those minus 200 teams. Has since gotten bet significantly down
because their lineup came out.
Oh, okay, yes, and
it's
still
trash.
Right, and it's they're still a huge favorite though at minus 175, and I was leaning on the under at 8.5 when it opened, and it still is at 8.5 at bet 365, and I think I will jump on that one. 8.5 under 8.5 minus 125. This is another one of those plays that I probably 2 weeks ago or a couple of days ago wouldn't have had the balls to give as an official pick, but made it a pick on my betting accounts and my personal accounts, and then it cashes, and then I'm frustrated that I didn't give it. I will give Pittsburgh White Sox under 8.5 minus 125 as an official pick. That's a bet 365.
I had a couple plays I was thinking about making, and then saw the Bucks lineup and just cut them all out. I think Hector Santiago can get touched even by this very weak Bucks lineup that they produced today. Winds blowing in softly. Pittsburgh's playing well. Won 6 of 7, 49 runs in those 6 wins. Marte hurt right now, but it doesn't look like he's going to hit the DL. Francisco Cervelli, I believe, is not in the lineup either, which doesn't help Tyone. Santiago cannot be trusted in any situation. 0-1, 5.60 ERA, 1.68 WHIP. In his last start against Minnesota, he allowed 8 runs in 3 1/3, 6 hits, 6 walks, and only struck out 2. He's a bad pitcher. Tyone, I like Tyone at home. I still want to talk with Twatty. I think anytime you're going to make a bet on the Pirates, it's important to talk to Aspire to a late old Twatty Latte, because I want to know exactly what he was seeing in Tyone when he envisioned the breakdown, because he left after his last start. He has a cut on his middle finger, and he's worried that he thinks that they caught it soon enough that it's not going to affect them long term. That's a red flag to me, a huge red flag. There's red flags all over this game.
Yeah, there
red
are.
Flags all. A weak Bucks lineup. Tyone had with the cut on his middle finger of his right hand, his throwing hand, and then Santiago just being a terrible pitcher. As Bud Nino says, Marte, Bell, Harrison all out of the lineup. I know a ton of people who are on Pittsburgh's run line. Ton of people on Pittsburgh's run line, tweeting it out all morning, and this is as weak of a lineup as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Mr. Cloudkick says Pirates team total over 4, easy play. They might still be able to do that because of how good they are against lefties, but how good they are against lefties is sitting in the clubhouse watching the game. So I'm thankfully off this play.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm not going to take the under. I take that back. I'm not going to make the under as an official play. I might be thinking about the White Sox on the second half at plus 110. White Sox are obviously a bad team, terrible team, but they do get Moncada back, which hasn't helped yet, but long term has got to help at least a little bit, right?
Definitely will help. Yeah,
a little bit, right? Got to help at least a little bit. All right, I'm going to do that though. I'm going to take the White Sox second half money line plus 110. I'm not on the under at 8.5 or 8. I agree with you. It's just kind of a weird, wacky game, but I will throw on the White Sox second half money line plus 110. I know they're a weak as hell team, but if Pittsburgh has a big lead, White Sox might be a sneaky play to put up get a 1-0 win on the second half of the game. I would also have wanted to take the second half under if it was 3.5, but it's 3 plus 110. The second half under yesterday was another one of my leans that I freaking didn't give in the show, and but did cash with. And I would still have a lean to 3 at plus 110, but I think I'm going to hold off on that one for now. Just going to take the White Sox on the second half money line at plus 110, and no play for you on that one, right, Jim?
Oh yeah.
I'm staying way off it. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other day games. Any of these day games have a pick that you want to give, Jim?
Yes, there's a bunch of them that do. Native Queen came out with her plays right now in the Pittsburgh game. And before we go into that, I just want to thank Yanks guy 30 who was trying to get me on that first 5 under and trying to push me in the right direction. And it means
on the Houston game.
Yeah, and it means so much to me that these guys care
about
my bankroll and care about us succeeding. And this is the reason why I know I'm going to have a big MLB season is because of working beside Pete every day and working with you guys in the chat. So shout out to Yanks guy.
Hey, Yanks guy. Huge shout out to Yanks. Yanks guy. Tomorino Tomer says Santiago is so bad. I'm not sure Pittsburgh's lineup matters. Hard to trust Tyone with the finger issue, though. And Todd Raymond, guy who has a nice feel for MLB totals, likes the over 8.5 in the Pittsburgh game. Of course, most places now have 8. So you can get an 8 now, and I am just going to take the White Sox on the second half money line plus 110.
And here you have both Nostratoda and Native Queen on the over in the Pittsburgh game. And when you're on the same side as them, I think you're going to hit an enormously high percentage of the time. Nostratoda's on the over first 5 and full game for the Pirates. And Native Queen says Pittsburgh first 5 over, game over, and run line, and money line, and game. And Milwaukee. So that must be...
No.
And, sorry. Pittsburgh first 5 over, game over, and run line, and money line.
It's just a little bit like reading computer code a little bit. No, I mean, the Native Queen is but the Oracle speaks in strange uses strange grammar, strange tongue sometimes. It's up to us to interpret what the Oracle is saying, and most of the time we get it right.
She's saying that she really likes the overs. And
that is obvious. Yes. The run line, money line, game, and money line, I think means she's liking Pittsburgh in general in this game.
Yes.
It is a big favorite line, but definitely Native Queen liking first 5 over and the full game over. And first,
if Nostra's on that too, I mean, I'm thankfully off of this spot.
And the first 5 innings over is wow. Oh God, I see. I did have some success with the first 5 inning overs yesterday. Overall, I lost on the Dodgers game, but the first 5 innings is just 4. Tempting. All right, Jim, what else do you want to give from today's show, from the day games?
I'm going to fade Ryan Carpenter, and I'm going to stop betting on the Indians until they figure out their bullpen. I can't believe I didn't cash that spot yesterday. They opened up the first inning with a grand slam. I'm just, it was very, very disturbing. But I'm going to take the Indians team total over here. They smash lefties, and I don't trust Ryan Carpenter. Game time temp 71 Fahrenheit, wind blowing in softly. Detroit has 3 starting position players sidelined by injuries, as we know, but has won 4 of its last 5. And John Hicks looked very good against Andrew Miller there. Andrew Miller clearly has not come back from that hamstring issue that he was dealing with. And they did get Castellanos back, who's a player that I love. And he hit a homer in his return. Bauer, 2-3, 3.00 ERA, 1.22 whip. I'm curious to see what he does here after giving up season high in runs and hits while lasting just 4 2/3 against the Kansas City Royals last out. He had pitched at least 6 innings in 6 previous starts. Bauer was tough on the Tigers on April 12th. Limited them 2 runs, 7 innings. 5-5 with a 7.26 ERA and 1.83 WHIP against them. But I think he's a much improved pitcher than he has been in the past. Carpenter has not looked good in that 3 2/3 that he's pitched in the majors this year. He allowed 2 home runs. He started 7 games this season for the Mud Hens, got lit up down there, 1-3 with a 5.01 ERA. And he looked pretty good in Albuquerque last year. And that's, to have a 4.15 ERA in the Pacific Coast League is pretty good. That's really good.
Sure.
But he's not looked good this year. Indians are smashing lefties, 264, 789 OPS. I'm on the Cleveland Indians team total over, and I'm hoping that I can get a 5 because there's only 5.5.
Yeah, I'm seeing at Pinnacle 5.5 plus 104. Let me quickly check Heritage for you, Jimmy the Bag. And do you want to check Bet365?
I got 5.5 at plus 110 about 20 minutes ago.
At Bet365.
Yeah,
all right, let me just quickly check Heritage. Come on, give him a 5. Let's see what Heritage has got. We're line shopping right now. What does Heritage have for Jimmy the Bag? Yes, there you go. Line shopping. 5 minus 130 if you want it. 5 minus 130 if you want it. And you said you can get 5.5 at plus 110 at Bet365. That's the one you want?
Well, let me just make sure it's still available.
Oh, we can definitely give you a plus 104 at Pinnacle. 5 minus 130 at Heritage right now. And I am pulling up Bet365. Well, either way, you want one of those, right?
Yes.
All right, so Jim's going to take Cleveland.
Got the Bet365 up right
Cleveland,
here.
Cleveland Indians team total over. Some very nice comments coming in. Let me just see some of these comments here. Let's see. Tomorino says Bauer is off the worst start of the year. I'd lean to him bouncing back. That's vaguely what I was thinking, but I wouldn't touch Cleveland at this price with their bullpen. B. Simpson says over 9 looks like a good play. Over 9 looks like a good play. Jared Schrader says maybe the over is the play in Cleveland, Detroit. Anthony L. says Indians first 5 money line in a parlay. Avoid full game with them until their bullpen corrects itself. Let's see. Other Melvin Morel, full game over is a nice play. A lot of people liking the over in this one. And BGJ Big Boss says halfway mark to saving my $10,000 to start my bankroll. I want to grow up to be like at Jimmy the Bag and at Pete. You might want to rethink that, DJ Big Boss. But okay, I understand the sentiment. All I'm saying to you, DJ Big Boss, is might want to rethink that. I want to give that a second thought.
We're going to hang out with Big Boss in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Growing wine be like Jimmy, absolutely. That I can endorse. Stick to just wanting to be like Jimmy when you grow up, DJ Big Boss.
No.
And team #low bag or nothing. Shout out to Big Boss. Thank you very much. Everyone talking about how bad Cleveland's bullpen is. JK says the Detroit lineup is real bad today. And then some other comments coming in. Let me see. Tom Marino says not good weather for the over. And yes, once again, I am checking. Are you checking?
Yeah, I got it. Over 5.5 at plus 110.
Okay, so which one would you like?
That's what I'll take.
Jim's going to take Cleveland over 5.5 plus 110. Okay, I'm going to stay off of this one, but like everyone else, my personal note on this game is maybe over at 9. And that's about it. Also thinking about the second half, Detroit has been weird. They've actually been a pretty good second half team at home. Of course, everyone's talking about how trash the Cleveland bullpen is. The Detroit bullpen is no great shakes either. Wow, and Detroit on the second half is plus 155. Jeez, that is tempting. That is real tempting.
That's
Jim.
real tempting.
But
yeah.
Detroit doesn't have a great bullpen either, but that's a big underdog line sitting right there. What's your take on the Detroit pitcher is probably going to get touched a little bit, right?
Yes, there's a couple pitchers starting today that have very limited MLB experience, and Carpenter I like the least of them.
All right, I'm going to take a shot with this one. I'm going to take Detroit second half plus 155. Detroit second half 155. Yes, Cleveland's bullpen is trash. We'll see how this one shakes out. I don't really trust Detroit as a team or as a bullpen, but that is a big line there. All right, what else are we looking at, Jimmy the Bag, today?
I am on the. I stayed away from that game. Why don't we talk about this game as everyone's talking about it on the. Vincent Maxwell saying, I killed it again. This show does help me make final decisions. I love this group.
Shout out Vincent K. Maxwell.
We love you, Vincent K. Maxwell.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about this Jace Met spot because I want to go over the lineup that the Mets have, so I'd like to start off by breaking this down, and then because I think Hap bounces back here, but it sounds like the Mets have filled their lineup with righties. Cespedes has moved to the DL. Wind is blowing in. The Jays are just 9-16 in their last 25, and we knew that Hap would regress, but last start was just god-awful, and it allowed 7 runs over 3 1/3. Hap is 3-2 with a 4.41 ERA in 10 career games against the Mets. Wheeler 2-2, 5.03 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. He allowed just 1 run over 6 innings against the Reds last out, which is better, but he's not looked good this year. Blue Jays are hitting just 231, 725 OPS, and the Mets are the worst team against lefties in Major League Baseball, hitting just 212 with a 593 OPS. I liked the Jays on the first 5, and I was going to take them by a half run, -1/2, but I want to take a look at hear what you have to say and take a look at their lineup.
I was thinking about a second half underplay on this one. The starting pitchers, I was thinking maybe about a first half over as well, but the second half is just a 3 at +105, so I don't know if I want to take that one. My vague thoughts were first half over, maybe second half under if it was 3.5, but it's not. It's just 3. Obviously, the Mets have terrible numbers on the year against lefties. That doesn't mean they're going to have a bad game here, and I think I'm going to pass on this one. It's tempting. I would have to be leaning Mets just as a home dog, despite the fact they're coming off the huge blowout win, and the starting pitchers are both questionable. I see Blue Jays lock of the day. Who said that? Wait a minute, let me find that comment. Where the hell is that comment? I can't. Oh, Chris Garza, Blue Jays lock of the day.
I'm going to stick with the plan. This Mets lineup, yeah, they're adding a bunch of righties, but it's a very weak lineup. Imagine having Wilmer Flores as your batting third in your lineup, and Phillip Evans batting fifth. I think that I'm going to stick with the plan, although I hear what you guys are saying. I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm going to take the Jays first 5 -1/2 run.
Really? Yeah. Okay, let me find the line for that one. Blue Jays first 5 -1/2. Let me find it. -1/2 +100 +100 +100 +100 is what we're going to be able to give you, Jimmy the Bag.
Sounds
Toronto first half -1/2 +100. So you think that the Jays are going to hit Wheeler a little bit?
I do think they're going to hit Wheeler a little bit. My concern is Hap.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this. I was thinking, the first 5 innings total is headed down, but right now you can get 4 at +115 at Pinnacle or 3.5 -125 at Bookmaker.
Look at our man Shaquille Bell with this stat. Great stuff. Under is 5-0 in Hap's last 5 starts following an outing where he lasted 4 or fewer innings. Wow, that's interesting. Thanks for that, Shaquille. Yeah, I'm comfortable with the spot that I'm in.
Yeah, Hap is a tricky guy. Let me see what the first 5 innings total would be for the Jays. 2 + 111. Oof, man, that's tempting. First 5 innings.
That's very tempting. I'm just a huge. Constantly all year I've been saying that this Blue Jays offense is worse than it looks. But I think this would be a nice spot for them. I'm just comfortable because if the Blue Jays score over 2 runs, I expect to hit my first 5. So they are correlated, and I don't want to double up.
Yes. Well, that total is definitely headed down. It's now down to 7 market wide. It opened at 8. It's now down to 7, and the first 5 innings total is crashing as well. Again, I'm thinking that maybe the first 5 innings over, and at 7, maybe the full game would be worth a shot at the over. But Jim's just going to take Toronto first 5 innings -1/2 at +100. Let's talk about the St. Louis Minnesota game. Yesterday, I did find the balls to give the under on the game, which was again a definite play that I was going to bet and keep in my spreadsheets. But found the balls to give the under on that one. I also liked St. Louis on the first half, which I didn't have the balls to give. I also liked the first half under, which I didn't have the balls to give. Those both cashed. And today we've got Mikolas against Lynn. Mikolas has been great. Is that going to continue here? Lynn has not been great. Is that going to continue here? Once again, I'm thinking about a shot with the under.
I think that's an interesting play. There's one thing that I think will happen in this game, and Lance Lynn turned down that $17.2 million qualifying offer from the Cardinals, and then had to sign for less money with the Twins. And he's angry at the Cardinals, and he's an interesting guy, interesting character. Sort of out of shape, and he walks around the mound like he's better than everybody. And I think that he's going to really want to take it out on the Cardinals. I expect him to pitch very well today. And I love the way Mikolas has been looking. Wind is blowing out at 10 miles per hour, so they're hanging at 9.5, right? Aren't they hanging 9.5?
Yes, 9.5.
Carpenter's batting 145, Fowler 146. And then Carpenter went hitless on Tuesday. They didn't even bother playing Fowler yesterday. So his average is down to 140. Mikolas, 2.51 ERA, 0.96 whip. Allowed just one run on 5 hits while working 6 2/3 against the Padres on Thursday. Lynn's looked awful this year, but I have a sneaking suspicion. Just like Greg Schneider says that. Lynn will have a great start today. I just have that feeling. I do too. I do too. Mark Lathrop says, love St. Louis today on them on the money line. A lot of people on St. Louis money line, but not applicable. Take St. Louis money line to my man CC Fitness. Tomor says, Mikolas has been great. I think he will regress, but he's in good form right now. I think what we're seeing is what we're going to get with Mikolas. I mean, obviously he's not going to be undefeated all year, but I think he's a good pitcher. He doesn't try to do too much. He doesn't walk anybody. 3 walks and 46 2/3. I see why they gave him the contract, and Japan really worked out for him, as it does for some people. Todd Raymond also on St. Louis. Rojo Flo says Cards no Lynn. And Not Applicable says Cards no Lynn's weaknesses. I hear that. And that was my initial plan. And then after a while, I started thinking about Lance Lynn and how much he despises the Cardinals and how much he hates the situation he was in the offseason and how it didn't work out for him. And it gave me, and then Scotty Rock Forever's on the over. You know what?
No, minus 110. Nostra T says best over of the day, best hitting weather. I think he's talking about the St. Louis game.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, 80 Fahrenheit, wind blowing out.
Yeah.
You know what? Tomor saying St. Louis is a good record, but I don't see them as a good team, very inconsistent offense. But imagine, Tomor, if their offense comes together, what a team this could be. The fact that they're 22-17 and they're hitting 226 with a 690 OPS, to me, says they're a really good ball club. Tomor said, I see Mikolas at a 3 or 4, not a 1 or 2 in a rotation. I hear that. I mean, that makes sense. And then Dark Kent's on Twins cards, first 5 under. Mitchell Chagas, St. Louis, Minnesota under. I tell you what, with the feeling that Lynn's going to pitch well, and I like Mikolas, and the under is interesting, and then Nostra Tota being on the over, and me not knowing what Lynn's going to do, I'm going to stay off this game.
Yeah, I'm now thinking I'm definitely not going to take the under on this one. It was just how I was thinking. I'm a little bit nervous about Mikolas here. I'm a little bit. He's obviously been great. Probably pitching a little bit over his head. Probably decent going forward. My sense is this might be a down spot for him. You know what I'm saying?
This might be a down spot, but this isn't a Twins offense that you're afraid of. I mean, Sano's not in the lineup. It just doesn't. It's not a lineup to be scared of. I mean, they ticky tack. You know, their toughest hitter right now is Joe Mauer, who hits singles. But I hear what you're saying. And Kobe Valentine says 74% of bets on St. Louis, and line has moved from mini plus 116 to minus 105.
Wow.
Vincent K. Mackwell says total 9.5. Yeah, right. This is a great under pick.
Nothing to be afraid of for the Minnesota lineup.
That's what I mean. Yeah, this is a lineup I see teams could get confidence in against.
I am a man primarily governed by fear in life. And I am a little bit afraid of this Minnesota lineup. I just have a feeling that it's going to be that it might not be the best spot for Mikolas, that he has pitched a little bit over his head, and that this might be, a day game on the road against a team like this with this weather, that it might be a spot where he gets touched a little bit.
I hear you. I hear that, and Vincent, my man
Vincent Maxwell says 9.5 is a gift from the gambling gods. Take the under.
I tell you what, when Nostra's on the other side of you, those gifts aren't as juicy as they seem.
Mitchell Chaga says Twins no Escobar, best hitter out. Under is the play at 9.5.
Yeah, this Twins lineup is soft. I would not be scared of them.
No?
No.
All right, I'm going to take St. Louis on the second half. I'm taking them second half on the money line, minus 125. Again, I'm kind of agreeing with the people that there might be a little bit of an overreaction market-wide to how good Mikolas has been recently and how bad Lynn has been. Might be a little bit of a better day for Lynn, a little bit of a worse day for Mikolas, and then the Twins lineup that is not to be feared will maybe matter more later on. So I'm taking St. Louis second half, minus 125. Definitely an interesting game here. What's coming on? What's coming out? What's so funny?
Scotty Rock's also on the over, and then Brooks got me by saying during the MLB segment I just nod a lot. Shout out to Brooksy for getting both the team total over and the Lightning yesterday.
Oof. Unreal.
He's so strong.
Marcus Johnson says St. Louis value is a 63% simulation. Nice job, Marcus Johnson. Maybe St. Louis on the full game is the right play here. I'm just going to stick with the second half here. And once again, a lot of people suggesting that the under is a good play. Dark Kent likes the Twins cards first 5 innings under, but big bat in the middle of the lineup. Nostra-Tota, -110. Nostra-Tota, really liking the over. Not a lean. That's a really like, right?
Yes, and Scotty Rock is very hot right now with all of his predictions. So those are two guys that you don't want to be against.
Yes,
and Greg Schneider says Twins reverse run line. Wow, a lot of differing of opinions. I'm thankful to be not on this.
Okay, let's move on. Other games. Obviously, we will get to the Bartolo Colon Day, if not right now, then in a few minutes. Then we've got at Milwaukee, Arizona, Woodruff against Cook, which is interesting. Also, Matt Harvey's second start. That's a day game going against San Francisco. We're going to get to all those games. Jimmy the Bag, which one would you like to start with?
I would like to start with the Diamondbacks game because I'm on the first 5 with the Diamondbacks. I know the Diamondbacks have lost 6 of 7, and their offense is trash. But I love this Brewers bullpen, and I know that the Diamondbacks bullpen has been good, very good. But the Brewers bullpen, I think, is the best in the league. Now the Yankees can easily show that they have the best bullpen in the league, and that. But right now, I just love these guys and the way they're throwing. And now the D-backs are moving forward without AJ Pollock, most productive offensive player, gone 4 to 8 weeks. So Dyson and Owings are going to split the time in center field. Owings is hitting 204, Dyson 184. The Brewers are dealing with a ton of injuries, and Woodruff is going to have to step up. I don't know if he's capable of doing it. I really don't. Yes, he's pitched great in AAA Colorado Springs, 1.89 ERA, but 8.03 ERA, 1.78 WHIP in the majors. And he just gave up 9 hits, 7 runs in 3 innings. Now, it was at Colorado, was at Coors Field. He's made and then Koch, this guy I think is the real deal. I really do. And he's made quality starts in 4 of his 5 starts, and the one where he didn't, he gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Both teams are hitting poorly, but I'm more afraid of the Brewers' offense, and I'm going to take the Diamondbacks on the first 5, and I don't need to take them by a half run. I can just take them just on the first 5 money line.
Okay, let's see. Well, there's one play which you pretty much mentioned. You like both bullpens. I'm definitely going to take the second half under here at 3.5 -110. Second half under 3.5 -110. That's definitely official play for me. We're looking at Arizona on the first 5 innings. UWager and BetMania have -110. They have the best lines right now. I will quickly check to see what Pinnacle has, but BetMania and UWager have -110. Let me see. Arizona. Let me just find it. Where the hell is it? Arizona. Sorry, I'm scanning over here. Where the hell is Arizona? -116 at Pinnacle. So we will give you Arizona first 5 innings. Money line -110. That is the current line at BetMania. And once again, we're doing a thing with BetMania. It's not a promotion. It's not a sponsorship. It's a thing. And if you would like to sign up with BetMania, please do so using the description box, using the link in the description box below the video, so that they will know that you found out about BetMania in the Loshak and the Bag Show. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good job. I love
it. Arizona first 5 innings -110 is an official pick from Jim, and I'm taking the second half under on this one, 3.5 -110. Let's maintain a brisk pace, Jim. What else do you want to talk about? San Francisco, Cincinnati.
Yes.
Let's jump into it.
Yes. I'm on the over.
Okay.
I do not trust Harvey. I understand there's a lot going against the over here, especially from an umpiring perspective. I also just want to mention a great note from Mark Lathrop about Mikolas saying he's hitting the most innings pitched in a year already. He will get fatigued. Look for walk rates to climb.
Yes, Mark Lathrop. Awesome comment. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of awesome comments coming in. We're trying to keep a brisk pace here. Jimmy the Bag, you like the over here.
I'm on the full game over Harvey versus Suarez. Game time temp 61 Fahrenheit, wind blowing out center field at 10 miles per hour. It gets up to 15 by the end of the game. Giants clinch their 4th straight home series in that come from behind triumph yesterday that I pushed with my local but hit here because I got a 7.5 line shopping at SBR odds. Reds expect to have Votto back in the lineup. Votto is an idiot. What he said about Canadian baseball, yes, he did retract it and apologize, but think before you talk, you fucking idiot.
Well, forgiveness is one of the main tenets of this show, Jim. So We accept apologies if they're sincere, not if they're not sincere. You have to take meaningful actions. Otherwise, the apology doesn't mean anything. Did he take any meaningful actions?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But he
fuck
says,
him. Fuck you, Votto.
He says it's because the Jays didn't draft him and he didn't make the Olympic team as a young. Eat a dick.
Yeah. Apologies without meaningful action means jack shit. What they're really saying is go fuck yourself. So if he didn't take meaningful action, fuck you too, Joey Votto.
Perfect. Thank you. Harvey 0-2, 6.10 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Was that start against the terrible bats of the Dodgers what we're going to become accustomed to? I don't think so. He retired 12 of 13 batters. Harvey's never beaten the Giants. He has a 5.68 ERA. Suarez has looked good, but the Reds smash lefties. It's about the only thing they smash. 256, 767 OPS, and Jansen Bonds is saying, yeah, he comes back home to Etobicoke every summer. I couldn't believe what he said, and Kent Davies says never apologize. But I couldn't believe what he said. It was just, oh God, it rubbed me the wrong way. But yes, I'm on the full game over. I understand that the ump is a guy who delivers unders. I just think Harvey's going to get touched.
Okay. And so you're taking the over. Well, we can give you, once again, line shopping. Most places have 8.5, but Pinnacle, Heritage still hanging at 8. So we can give you a 8 minus 120 if you would like that one. If you want an 8.5, we can give you plus 102.
Sorry, my man Tomor says, I don't see what the big deal is. He just doesn't follow Canadian baseball. He didn't trash it. I think we're reading different quotes and watch two different interviews then, Tomor. Sorry, what was
so 8 minus 120 or 8.5 plus 102?
I'll take 8 minus 120.
Okay, that is the current line at Heritage. I'm going to stay off of this game. I think a lot of interesting comments and going back to the Arizona game a bit. Jimmy the Bag, great call on the under in Arizona Milwaukee last night. People endorsed it as well. There are a few people in the comment section who endorsed it, and people are talking about the under tonight. Anthony L says Cook is a huge regression candidate and Woodruff isn't very good, but I still have to stick with my unders at Chase Field. Fade Cook in his next start.
And look who comes in, Drew Martin, Milwaukee, Arizona.
Shout out to Drew Martin. I love fucking Drew Martin.
Great
really
guy.
A good guy.
Yeah.
People who don't, I don't know if does he come off as a good guy on camera? Because I can tell you off camera, he's a fucking great guy.
Yeah, I know, he's money in the bank,
fucking
man.
Christ. Tormarino Tomor says Lamb and Pollock are huge losses for Arizona. The books haven't adjusted to Arizona not being hitter's park with the humidifiers. I'd lean under. People like an under. Great call yesterday, Jim. You don't like, I'm on the second half under. What about the full game under?
I felt like that call was as easy as the Scherzer Nationals under that I think was on Friday. It was just a gift. No, I don't know what Woodruff is going to give us. So, but I hear what you guys are saying.
Drew Martin does like the full game under. I'm already on the second half under. Maybe I should double up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are on that play. Makes sense. I get it.
All right, let's keep a brisk pace here, Jimmy the Bag. Let's talk about the Bartolo Colon game. How about that? You want to talk about that? Bartolo Colon making his next start? I don't know, man. It's a great story. He's a great guy. He's going to have a great life for the rest of his life. Going forward for the rest of this year, I don't know how bad he's going to be, but in general, I have to think that he's a fade candidate.
I do too, and this might be a good spot to do it, but the market knows it. And Christian Bergman, 30 years old, he's an interesting case, and he has a career 5.58 ERA, 1.50 WHIP. It's terrible, but in AAA this year he's looked quite good. 3-3, 3.40 ERA, a bit of a higher WHIP, 1.44, but 0 home runs allowed in 45 innings. That's impressive. And now at 30 years old, I think he's going to use this opportunity to play in the show different than he has in the past, and I think he's going to pitch well. And they've moved D. Gordon to second base. He was a Gold Glover there, and the Rangers don't have Beltre in the lineup. I mean, obviously seeing the plus numbers beside the Rangers against Bergman is appealing, but not appealing enough for me to take it.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make a bet on this.
All right. I was thinking maybe about a shot with the first 5 innings over. I cashed that one last night with the Texas-Seattle game. What do you think about it here? What's so funny? What's so funny?
Kobe's giving saying Votto's just salty for not making Team Canada. Jay's not drafting him out of high school, which I mean, he said he let it slip that he runs camps in Canada and does a lot for Canadian baseball. I think he's truly sorry. And then And then my man Max says I'll throw a cup of piss in his face. So not everybody accepts the apology.
Yes. Let's see.
And Mark Lathrop says exactly that. Tacoma AAA team plays in the Hitters Park. Those numbers are no joke. They are no joke. 0 home runs allowed in 45 innings in the Pacific Coast League is very, very impressive. And he's 30 years old. I feel like he's going to pitch. That you can almost put a line through his career stats in Major League Baseball because he's going to be better.
All right, so no play for you on that one. The only other day game we haven't touched on is Tampa Bay KC Faria against the Hamel. This one is interesting. I'd want to be leaning under here, except Hamel has been so bad this year. And then on the others, and then the second half after Hamel comes out, Royals terrible bullpen, worst bullpen in the majors. So that's not good for the under. Maybe a KC team total under. We expect a good start from Faria. What do we expect here?
I've got asterisk under question mark here. Winds blowing in. Royals have lost 4 straight, 6-7. Duffy and Gomez left the game. They're not going to be playing today. Royals already placed Soler and, I don't believe they placed them. They've been injured. Cuthbert and Soler are injured. Yost says that both could play today. So we'll have to see when the lineup comes out. Faria, 5.09 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. He's had a very strange season.
Yeah.
Allowed 1 or 0 runs in 4 of his last 6 starts, 5 of his 8 starts. 1.26 ERA in those 5 starts. He's also one of just 6 starters in Major League Baseball to allow 7 runs or more in multiple starts. You know who else has done that? Jason Hamm. So, I mean, it's just, I would like to take the under, but I don't think I will. Hamel allowed 9 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, and 3 2/3 Friday against Cleveland. He is much better at home than he is on the road. I would if I got a free play, I would take the under here, but I just don't want to put my money on it.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking the KC team total under at 4.5. What about that?
I mean, with Soler and Cuthbert, if they're back in the lineup, I like the under. I wanted to take the under. Oh, and Triple Beam says Soler in Cuthbert out. Well, Soler is a big help to this terrible offense. Bonds, my man Jansen Bonds says I'm only taking Rays just because I can't take Hamels. And King Rail says fade that game.
Yeah, Ulysses Hayes says take Tampa Bay. Dom Ricci says Royals one of the worst first 5 teams in baseball. Well, they got to be one of the worst second half teams in baseball too, because they got the worst bullpen in baseball. And Kobe Valentine says I lean KC. What do we? God, right now I would love to have Tomarino Tomor and Mark Lathrop and Kobe Valentine comment on what they expect from Faria right here, because if they expect a decent start from Faria, I would take the KC team total under 4.5. That's definitely a lean. I just don't know if I want to have the balls to give it as an official pick. We do have to keep a brisk pace here.
We do. I hear what you guys are saying. And I think that this is a great opportunity for Faria against this weak Royals lineup. But he's just such a hot and cold pitcher, and Hamel is just so hard to trust. So I'm gonna stay off of it. But my lean would definitely be in the under.
All right, I guess for now I will hold off on that one as an official play. And that's it from the afternoon games. From the day games, once again, Jim is taking Cleveland team total over 5.5 plus 110. Toronto first half -0.5 plus 100. Arizona money line chopping got a -110. Line chopping very important. You can do that for free at SBRodds.com. And Jim is taking Cincinnati San Francisco over 8 -120. I am taking Baltimore, second half under 4 plus 105. That game's already off. White Sox, second half money line plus 110. St. Louis, second half money line -125. Detroit, second half money line plus 155. And Milwaukee, Arizona, second half under 3.5 -110. We do want to keep a brisk pace here, Jim. We want to get to 2 playoff games. Any plays you want to lock in from the evening games, and we will analyze the evening games in depth with a lot more free time, with only 6 games tonight in the 6 o'clock show. That should be pretty fun. I like it when there's not that many games and not that much pressure to keep a brisk pace. Jimmy the Bag, any plays you want to lock in? No?
Yes, I'm locking in the Chicago Cubs, and I agree with Nostra that we are going to get value fading the Braves from here on out. And I predict if you fade the Braves every game for the rest of the season, that you will be up at the end of that. I'm going to take Chatwood. McCarthy looks terrible. I'm on the Cubs full game. Game time temp 75 Fahrenheit, wind blowing in. Chatwood 3-3, 3.35 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. Yes, he has 32 walks and 37 2/3, but he is pitching better. And he's 3-0 with a 2.45 ERA in his last 4 starts. He's faced the Braves 7 times in his career, not looked very good, 5.60 ERA. Something's wrong with McCarthy. 5.58 ERA, 1.71 WHIP. He gave up 12 hits, a career worst 8 runs over 3 1/3 at home to San Francisco on May 5th. 5th. Then 11 hits, 6 runs over 5 innings in a road defeat to the Miami Marlins on Friday. His ERA jumped from 3.09 to 5.58. McCarthy has been excellent against the Cubs in his past, but I just feel like this is a nice spot to fade him, and I am fading him.
Okay, you just want full game, huh?
Yes.
Plus 101, line shopping. It's a negative line at a bunch of places, but at Pinnacle, we can give you Cubs, money line, plus 101. There are so many great comments coming in from the handicapping perspective in today's show. There's so many that I saw earlier. We don't have time to identify them all, but thank you so much. Mark Lathrop says Faria will have to have his slider working to have success today. Sounds a little bit circumspect. That's not a very strong endorsement of Faria having a good start. And where was it? Kobe Valentine says, I see a so-so start. But Tampa Bay is sitting players. And Tomorino says, I don't think anyone knows what to expect from Faria, which is why the line is pick him. Young pitcher who doesn't know what to do on the road. That's not a very ringing endorsement from three guys who follow these.
Not at all. But Todd Raymond does say Cubs money line favorite play today.
Nice. And a great comment here from Nate Holguin. Now is the time to take dogs in MLB. Teams are regressing. Identities are being formed. Guys getting injured, suspended. Nate Holguin says now is the time to take dogs in MLB. Great comment there, Nate Holguin. And there were so many other comments that I really wanted to identify, but we just don't quite have time for that. Jimmy the Bag has added on the Cubs plus 101, and I think that's it for MLB. Can we move on to the two playoff games in NHL and NBA, Jim?
Absolutely.
All right, we're ready to move on to the playoff games in NBA and NHL. I guess let's start with the NBA game. How about that, Jim?
Yes.
Jim, very excited. Jim says Jim teased us. He used it. That's a professional move right there. He teased us in the beginning of the show, saying he's got something to say, something great to say about the Houston Golden State game. Jimmy the Bag, bam, you're on.
After studying this as much as possible, because this is the most exciting series that we're going to get all season. So simply put, the Rockets can play much better, but can they play good enough to beat the Hamptons 5? And how will they be able to do it? And I was looking over at all the stats. What do they need to do to ensure that they can change the game? And the only thing that really bounced at me, that really said something to me, was that they have to stop the Warriors' transition offense. They have to stop it. And I watched the game in its entirety, and I watched parts of it a second time. And I was like, what can they do? What could they possibly do? The only thing the Rockets can do is slow the pace down. And I bet you that's what Chris Paul and James Harden were fighting about, because they were fighting at one point on the bench. They have to slow the pace down. That is the only thing I can see them doing. They had the second best turnover rate in the first two rounds of the playoffs in 41 years. Since they started tracking that stat. Then they turned the ball over 16 times trying to play at a speed that the Warriors play at so that they could be more offensive than the Warriors. It's not going to work. They have to slow the game down. And we were talking earlier, some people were saying, oh, maybe overs the rest of the series and stuff like that. And I thought maybe I was sort of on that page until I realized the only chance they have is to slow the game down. I'm on the under.
Interesting comment. All right, let's just sorry, I was just scanning because there were great comments coming in. As we know, in game one, a lot of back and forths on the total. A lot of people were saying that even though it's a game one of a playoff game, that it would be a faster paced than people were expecting. And I remember in the afternoon show for that game, I was remarking how the market had completely set on 225. Every single book had 225. No one was even juiced to the over or the under, even slightly. So who was right? The answer was absolutely no one was right except for the market game. Bam! Landed right on 225. Unreal, Jimmy the Bag.
Unbelievable.
Jimmy the Bag liking the under. And right now we can give you 224.5 minus 106 at Pinnacle. That is the current line at Pinnacle. Jim's going to take the Houston game under 224.5 minus 106. I think that's great analysis. That was actually the pick that I made on my private accounts earlier. Not nearly for as in-depth reasoning as you gave, but I was definitely liking the under. It was a pick.
Well, Rojo Flo says exactly, and maybe he puts it better. You can't stop it.
Right.
You just have to try and slow them down. And if they do that, they can win. Now, I think they might be able to win a game or something. But the only chance is to not go shot for shot with them and not sprint down the floor. I was surprised seeing Paul turn the ball over. I was not that surprised seeing Harden turn the ball over. They turned the ball over 16 times. If you turn the ball over 16 times to the Warriors, you'll lose every time. The Warriors recorded a 60.6 effective field goal percentage in the series opener. They produced a 61.8 effective field goal percentage in their 3 regular season meetings. That's just the Warriors. That's what the Warriors are going to do. You have one chance. And that's to slow it down. Now, obviously, Tucker, Green, Mabaa, Mute combined for 7 points on 2 of 14 shooting. That's got to improve. But if you look at their three-point percentages and their field goal percentage, that's pretty much what you're going to get from them.
Right.
Capella's got to make his presence known. He had 0 fouls. And when I see that, I see somebody not being aggressive enough defensively or offensively. Yes, he went 6 for 7 from the field, but he needs to get more than 6 rebounds. The only way to stop them, you can't stop. Sorry. The only thing you can do is slow down. And I know I think that's what Chris Paul and Harden were fighting about. And after losing 119-106, Chris Paul will have his way.
So my first question is, I have 2 questions for you, Jimmy the Bag.
Sure.
First question is, why would you not also like the first half under? Because I'm thinking if you're liking the under for those strategic reasons, they're probably going to employ it most aggressively earlier in the game. Why would you not like the first half under? And then second of all, I think your analysis is great. I agree with you on the under. The question is it going to be effective? And I don't know if it will be, because if you look at what happened in Game 1, it's not like Chris Paul had a bad game. It's not like Harden had a bad game. It's not even like Chris Capella had a bad game. None of those guys shit the bed. I was looking at the bed. There was not really any shit on it. You know what I'm saying?
Capella had 6 rebounds and 0 fouls. To me, that's a bad game.
Uh-huh.
To me, because he's so crucial. But no, you're right. Chris Paul and Harden didn't play that badly. No one shit the bed. But you just can't go shot for shot with the Hamptons 5.
So my other question is, why would you not also like Golden State, just, whether it's a low-scoring game, high-scoring game in the second half, whatever, why would you not, once again, like Golden State to pull out another win?
I think it makes sense to bet Golden State. I do. But in saying that, this is a Game 2, a home game for Houston. Paul should have his way. I'm sure this Rockets team that's got a bunch of veterans on it has been debating exactly what to do for a long time. So Scotty Rock forever says Warriors money line is the play for sure. You're getting Rockets are favored, so you're getting a plus line. The reason why I'm not taking the first half too is because I just don't want to double up on it.
Okay,
they're just too offensive. Maybe the first half is the sounder play than the full game, but if it works in the first half, they're going to apply it in the second half too. You're right. Maybe that's the sounder play. I'm just barely up units on the season in NBA, and I don't want to put 2 units on it.
I hear you. Well, I'm way the fuck down on the units in the NBA, so it doesn't matter for me. I am going to double up. What the hell? I'm going to go with it as well. I'm going to take the under 224.5 minus 106, and I'm also going to take the first half under, and I might even triple up on it and take the first quarter under. Although I think I'm just going to stick with the first half. It's going to be a 114.5 minus 103. That's the current line at Pinnacle, 114.5 minus 103. And I may also throw on Golden State. I may also throw on the Houston team total under. I may quadruple or even quintuple up. There's a chance. I've given 2 plays. I might give the first quarter under. I might give Golden State +2 or on the money line. And I might give the Houston team total under as well. I might quintuple up on this game, Jim. Because when you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. I'm down like 30 units in NBA. Who cares, right?
No, I mean, you can be a little more loosey-goose, but
yeah, I hear you, Jim.
I know you care. And
I do care. Jim knows me so well. All right, great breakdown. There are a lot of great comments in the comment section about this game, but we just don't have time to get to them all. Thank you so much. You can read them all while they're coming in, while we're discussing it in the show. Don't have time to highlight them because right now we have to get to another interesting game, right, Jimmy the Bag?
Yes.
The NHL game, unbelievable. Vegas, what a friggin' team! What a friggin' team, right? They got pretty manhandled in Game 1. Came back. They didn't just play tighter. They got the win. Shout out to a regular commenter and viewer Al Pacino, who had Vegas and Brooks. Did Brooksy also have him?
Yes, he had Vegas, and he had Vegas in Game 2, and he had Tampa, both Vegas and team total over, and then he had Tampa and Tampa team total over.
Unbelievable! Al Pacino and Brooksy go at each other, debating who's the better NHL handicapper. Well, maybe they're both equally great NHL handicappers. They both had Vegas. Everyone else that I saw was betting against Vegas, including myself. I had Winnipeg -1, and I had to eat a loss on that one.
Yeah, this team, I stayed off that game, and it's just because, you get burnt. And Scotty Rock is on the over. A couple of people coming out for the over. I get it. I can understand why you'd like the over. I just know that Houston has one chance. So if Houston wins this game or comes close to winning it, it's going to go under, I think. But yes, this night's team steps up. And I think this is going to be a long series. Seriously says Winnipeg, if the price is right. The Jets have won 4 of their last 5 on the road. Their only loss came in overtime at Nashville. That's very impressive. They've outscored their opponents 21-9 in their last 5 playoff road games. They outscored Nashville 11-3 in their final 2 games at Bridgestone. The Preds were 28-9-4 there during the race season. Winnipeg is 8-1 when it scores the first goal. Vegas is 7-1. Whoever scores the first goal looks like they're just going to run. I mean, they just have so much speed and confidence. Now, March is
in this game. Yeah. That is a prop that you can bet. Team score the goal wins the game. That might be a sharp way of approaching this one, Jim.
Non-applicable says Jets will dominate this one. Brian Sater saying, what's Jets team total over? We'll look into that. March or so says, every time we need a big game as a group, we show up. We showed the hockey world we earned the right to be here. That's a similar kind of thing that Stamkos said. And, they're just a special group. David Perron missed 2 games because he wasn't feeling well. I don't know if that's true. That just doesn't seem truthful. Thomas Tatar replaced him and played well, scored a goal. William Carrier missed the last 3 games with an undisclosed injury. Simply put, the Jets are a very, very good team on the road, and the Knights are a very, very good team at home. And I'm going to spend a little bit more time figuring out what to do. I have a lean towards the Jets. I tell you what, if the Knights win Game 3, I will take the Jets in Game 4. Ulysses Hayes says goaltending wins the game. Both these goalies are playing very well. Paco Healy loves team total over. Rojo Flo says team totals for both, or they're just both at 2.5. Young Vaughn likes Jets plus 1.5. Vincent K. Maxwell says Fleury letdown spot. I mean, he's a veteran goalie who doesn't seem to get frazzled. John Robertson says Jets. Tomar says Vegas needs Fleury to be great. Winnipeg can win with offense or defense. There's some truth to that.
I mean, it feels like they're going to split these 2 games in Vegas, and it's hard to say which team is going to win which. But the market, I don't know if you're aware of this, Jim. A pretty big move on Winnipeg. And that has come in recently. The Greek with a massive move on Winnipeg. The line opened, I'm seeing at Pinnacle at Winnipeg at about plus 125. It's now down to plus 109 at Pinnacle. Everywhere else is about plus 110. But the Greek Intertops, you wager bet 365, all the way down to plus 100 for Winnipeg. So a big, almost a 20-cent market move here in favor of Winnipeg.
I expect that to come slightly back.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, look at Intertops hanging at plus 100.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect that to come slightly back. Not fully, but slightly back. Joe D says I'm leaning on under 5.5. This is just one of those games that I'm going to need to spend more time on.
Okay.
Hear what other people have to say. Swytek says Jets are going to close them out in 5. Tomor says I got plus 115. Mele Peles Way says had Vegas in under last game and leaning that way again. Marcus Cologne, Jets and under. My lean is towards the Jets. I think I may have missed the opportunity to take them, so I'm going to see what the line does, and I'm going to take more time. But
Swiatek thinks the Jets are going to close them out in 5, win 2 on the road.
That's wild. And Swiatek is a very strong, very good, very sharp capper. So King Rail says Knights.
Yeah.
Tomer says I'm on Winnipeg to win the series minus 115.2. I just thought Winnipeg was flat game 2. I did heads with Winnipeg, so I to win the cup at plus 700. So I really do. It would really help if they move forward here. I'm just going to take more time.
Interesting shit. King Rail says Knights. Marcus Cologne says Jets. Winnipeg, Vincent K. Maxwell predicts an exact score of Jets win 4-3. Tomino Tomor, Winnipeg has been inexperienced and inconsistent all playoffs off big wins. I think they bounced back here. They were better on the road the whole series against Nashville. That's true. They did do well against Nashville, but again, we've seen that it's an electric atmosphere in Vegas in the regular season and of course in the playoffs. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, but I think that is exciting for the road team as well in the playoffs. That we're this deep in the playoffs. So, and the Jets have a lot of veterans on their team, and they wake up every morning in Winnipeg. I think it's a pretty exciting place to play. But just like what Clint says, I think Vegas is a special team. I think now that they've gotten a taste of what the Jets can do, they get this series. There's no question that this Vegas team is a special team. Native Queen thinks they'll win the cup.
Brent Brooks here with obviously a guy who's first-time viewers will we want to be introduced to Brent Brooks, an awesome NHL handicapper. He says 3 words: Marc-Andre Fleury, and he's not saying Marc-Andre Fleury in parentheses is awesome. He's saying Marc-Andre Fleury is a massive liability.
No. Brent Brooks is going to be. He takes Vegas in these situations. I think he believes.
Okay.
I really think he believes in.
But didn't Brent Brooks predict that they're going to lose both these games at home?
Did he?
Yeah, or is that someone else who predicted it?
Shit, I want to know.
Yeah, but didn't Brooks predict Winnipeg in 5?
No, that was Swiatek.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. Oh, so Brooks likes. Brooks likes Vegas.
He's made a ton of money off of Vegas this year, and it made a ton of money backing them offensively and trusting Fleury.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. So Brooks is not the one who said Vegas in 5.
Well, that was Swiatek.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Brooks, he's liking Vegas tonight.
Yes, and Tomor says Winnipeg lacking playoff experience. I mean, so's Vegas. And I mean, they're both lacking playoff experience. Trevor Loudon says not going to hull a bowl of cock soup down his gullet.
Sean Robertson saying Jets, posting it 4 times.
Yeah, I'm going to need more time with this game and study it more and listen to what people have to say. King Rail says, supposed to go to the game with my puck-ass boss, but I'm not going to go. Rather jack off with sandpaper than hang out with him. Wow, your boss must suck.
King Rail, funny as hell. Yes, Brooks, I apologize for that, and now he just said, no problem, Pete. Thank you very much, Brooks. It was, there's a lot of comments coming in, and Eric Swiatek says, man, that whole in 5 comment game got way more run than I was expecting. Yeah, Swiatek, welcome to social, digital media. This is how this shit works. If you make a bold prediction that might be crazy, that you're doing, you don't even necessarily believe in it, you'll get the clicks and views and likes, whereas someone else who's making the smart, prudent, august analysis, it's boring. You know what I'm saying? Cav sweep, bam! You're going to get a lot of attention for that one. Yes, Swiatek, it is but I know that we know that you meant it sincerely.
Yeah, and the 8-8 and 8. 8-8 and 8. 8-8 and 8 says, don't know much about hockey, but I live in Vegas. The magic behind this team is real.
Yeah, and I know you don't like to discuss this part of the sports, Jim, but might get a call or 2 in their favor. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure the NHL prefers Vegas in the Cup final than Winnipeg.
Sure.
8-8 and 8. Join us for IFBC, man. We're going to be there August 24th, 27th. And a bunch of the cappers, bunch of the low baggers will be there too. Please join us, hang with us. Okay, great show, guys. Now we're going to wrap it up, and let's wrap it up on this comment. Trevor Loudon says, missed the first half of the show. Could you guys recap picks at some point? We can do that right now for you. Trevor Loudon, once again, all of Jimmy's picks. Jimmy the Bag did take Houston under 224.5. Great in-depth analysis, and generally a lot of agreement in the comment section. Jim is also on in the nighttime in MLB. Cubs money line plus 101. Day games, Cleveland team total over 5.5 plus 110. Toronto first 5 innings minus a half. Arizona first half money line minus 110. Cincinnati San Francisco over 8 minus 120. And I took doubled up on the Houston under as well. 224.5 in the first half, 114.5. I took Baltimore second half under. That game is already off. I took White Sox second half money line plus 110. St. Louis second half money line minus 125. Detroit second half money line plus 155. And Milwaukee, Arizona second half under 3.5 minus 110. Those are all the picks. That's the recap for just for you, Trevor Loudon. That wraps up the show, and we, of course, will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll do more analysis of 2 playoff games, probably make some more jokes, probably some more hijinks, and, of course, analyze in-depth all the nighttime games, all the evening games in MLB, add some picks from those games. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you at 6 o'clock Eastern Time.